Hi, my name is Dr. Ben Thompson. Can you believe that I have made 5 review videos of hearing aids that I bought on Amazon.com for under $100? And I'm actually wearing this one right now. This is the case it came in. This is the box it came in. In this video, we're going to review the Banglijian hearing aids and how good they are. I'm going to cover, in my opinion, the 2 pros and the 5 cons, things that you really need to look out for before you consider buying these. If you're new here, then you made it to a great video because this is the 5-part series of the best hearing aids that I found on Amazon.com for under $100. And this video is number 5, wrapping up the 5-part series. The Banglijian hearing aids are beige and they sit behind your ear. I'm going to first explain how we even measure the effectiveness of hearing aids. Can we prove one hearing aid is better versus another? Well, let me first start by explaining and educating you about a research study that was completed in 2019. The study looked at 154 individuals ages 55 to 79 years old who had a mild to moderate degree of hearing loss. In the study, they tested the hearing of each individual and they came out with an average hearing test. So I don't know your hearing loss, and I've probably never met you or spoken with you. So we have to use some science to understand how can we predict whether these hearing aids will work for you who's trying to make a decision online about which hearing aids to go with. That average hearing test of those 154 individuals, I'm going to put on the screen right now. With that hearing test result, I can put it into a system called real ear measures in an audiology clinic. We can create a scientific method to understand whether this hearing aid will match the hearing loss prescription based on the average hearing test of that research study. The output we're looking for is called real ear measures. Let me show you an example of real ear measures done very well. This is a snapshot of an entry-level hearing aid by one of the major manufacturers that we put into our audiology software. And we said, here's the hearing test, give us the hearing aid output based on that hearing test. Automatically, that system created an output, which I'm showing on the screen now. That computer system created an excellent match of the output of the hearing aid to the targets or the prescription. You can see the single line going through all of those checkpoints, all of those crosses on the graph. That means this person is getting the right kind of amplification they need based on the pitch regions where they need the help the most. Now, I wanted to show you that as an example of an excellent fitting. Now we're going to compare these Banglijian hearing aids and see how well they do. But first, let's talk about the 2 pros. Pro number 1 is that these hearing aids are cheap. They're under $100. Pro number 2 is that they are rechargeable. You can put a little cord, a little wire in them, and you can charge them overnight. That's convenient. Now let's get into the 5 cons and talk about how the test results came out for this hearing aid. First, I want to show you the complete volume range of this hearing aid. On the graph that's on the screen now, the orange line, which is on this graph in the lowest position, that's the actual measurement of my ear canal when sound is coming in without a hearing aid in it. And then you see 3 lines above that, which get progressively louder. And those are the volume ranges of this hearing aid. When I went from the bottom all the way to the top, that's the range of volume. It's actually a very limited range. That's much less than I would expect from hearing aids. And there's a strange dip. There's a strange dip around 2000 hertz there where it seems like no amplified sound is getting past or louder than it needs to be at 2000 hertz, which is not what we want. What you can take from this graph is that even though they give you a volume range, the actual benefit from that volume range will be limited. The second test I did was at the standard program setting. I measured the output of the standard program and then pressing the program button, the second program. You can see here that the output of the hearing aids is not a horrible response. It's better than some other hearing aids I tested on this list, but it's still lower than where it should be at a few of the pitch ranges. And that means you're potentially missing out on the clarity of speech if you were to go with these hearing aids. When I tap into the second program, it lowers some of the high frequency or high pitch output of the hearing aids. And that's typically done to make a situation more comfortable or less noisy for you. Overall, the response in the test equipment was okay at best, but overall pretty bad. It wasn't clear enough. It was not a good match to the real ear measures. I'll put that example I showed earlier of a good clean match to the targets so you get a fresh memory of what it's supposed to look like. Well, what do you expect? The hearing aids are less than $100, so it makes sense they're not perfectly matching the targets, but I'm glad we went through the process to test them. Con number 2 is that the volume control really didn't change much. Even the loudest setting on these hearing aids wasn't as loud as you might want. Con number 3 is feedback. When you put this in your ear, you're at a high risk for the device to whistle or make noise or annoy you. Con number 4 is that the hearing aid feels very cheap. It feels very light plastic and it sort of feels like it could break any second. And finally, con number 5 is that there's no Bluetooth streaming, there's no smartphone connectivity from these hearing aids to an Android or an iPhone. Thank you for watching this video. This is video number 5 of a 5-part series of the best 5 hearing aids I could find on Amazon.com for under $100. My name is Dr. Ben Thompson. I'm an audiologist, and I'm also the founder of TrebleHealth.com, where we provide telehealth services for people who have hearing loss, who might need hearing aids or recommendations for that technology, as well as provide services for tinnitus or tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears. If you're looking for any help with that, please head over to TrebleHealth.com. Thank you so much, and subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay connected to all future videos coming out. I really wish you well on this hearing journey, and I hope these videos made it easier for you to understand the pros and cons of different online hearing aid options. Thank you.